For today, I'm requesting every member to please mute. Let us mute so that we can hear each other. Please. Shiba, could you? Thank you. Today we are going to look at informal letters. So, had you started? Members, when you keep unmuting yourselves, I'm also being muted without realizing. So I request members to mute so that I'm not muted and do not talk when you can't hear me. So please let's keep our mics muted so that we can hear each other. Okay, so today we are to look at informal letters. So is there anybody who started informal letters back at school? Hello?
No, teacher.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So we have to look at informal letters. Okay. I hope my screen is visible to us.
Who is the teacher?
Go, has the teacher gone?
I'm not seeing him.
Let's stay calm. He's reconnecting. Meanwhile, remember to put your name and contact in the chat. Please provide contacts of your parents in the chat section. I still remind you of this session having purpose and remaining focused to be there tomorrow at 11 up to 1. Don't miss this guest speaker. Then on Thursday, we shall have that session, how to effectively search the internet. Don't miss that session as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Teacher Bernard. I'm sorry, my network had gone off, so I jumped off. Okay, I'm trying to share my screen. Let's mute ourselves, please. Let us mute ourselves.
Nasoma kitabo. Ndasobola kitabo. Ndakuta kitabo.
Okay. Members, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Excuse me, teacher, I cannot hear you.
I'm not hearing it.
Teacher Bernard. Hello, Teacher Bernard.
Any problem?
Teacher Bernard.
Any problem?
When I share my PowerPoint, Zoom jumps off.
Could you pass it over here and I share it as you do the class management?
Okay, let me send it. Can you see my screen, Teacher Bernard?
No, I can't see your screen. I said you send me the PowerPoint or your content. I present it this side as you do the monitoring of the class.
So as Bernard prepares to share the presentation, let's be brainstorming. So could someone be knowing what we understand by the term informal letter? What is an informal letter? Let us mute ourselves. Laura?
Informal letter is a letter which can be written to either our father or our mother or any one of our relatives.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Teacher Bernard, please, could you make me a co-host so that I can mute some members? Okay, so Laura says an informal letter, these are letters that we write and send to our relatives, our fathers, our sisters, our mothers, and friends. Yeah, Laura says informal letters, these are letters that we write to friends, relatives, fathers, mothers, and brothers and sisters. So I check, Hannah, your hand is up. Now, Peace, your hand is up.
Informal letters are letters written to close people like friends, family members, and so on.
Okay, thank you. So it is true. The informal letters, Teacher Bernard, could you go to the next slide? Okay. So could someone read on the screen? Someone to read, please.
Informal letters are written to close acquaintances of the writer, their friends, family, relatives, etc.
Okay, go on.
Since they are written to close relations, the letters have an informal and personal tone. Casual language is used while writing informal letters, and sometimes the letters may even have an emotional undertone.
Okay, could someone explain to us what that one means? What has just been read? What does it mean? Someone to volunteer and explain? Someone? By show of hands, please, could someone volunteer to explain what we have just heard? Okay, it says these letters that we write to close relatives, that means since they deal with the relations, so there is the language that is used and the tone are all informal. So the language is casual. Or when you're writing this letter, use a casual language. The tone can be also casual. So there are some words that you find in an informal letter that you cannot write in other documents that we do write, especially formal letters. So in informal letters, the language, we are not limited to the kind of language we should use. Informal language can be used, the casual talks. Hi, how are you doing? Back to me, that casual language. How are the parents? How are my siblings? Hope you are fine. So that casual language is allowed in while writing an informal letter. But first of all, do we know what a letter is? Could someone please, what is a letter? Yes, someone? Someone, what is a letter? Okay, so no one is responding to the question. A letter, it's a document written from one person to another, stating the address, stating the subject, stating the reason as to why he or the person is writing. It is a form of communication that involves writing to another person and in need of a response to the request or to the information that is to be given out. So we have both, we have formal and informal letters. So today we are dealing with informal letters, these that deal with casual language and casual tone that is required while writing this letter. I can see someone's hand is up. Yes, Sad. Sad?
Yes, I forgot to put it down when you answered the question, what is a letter?
Okay, please. So teacher Bernard, go to next slide. Okay, so we'll put it back down a little bit. Okay, yes, you can leave it there. So now the question comes, what do we expect in our formal letter? Which parts are put in our formal letter? Maybe you can use the charts and by show of hands. What do we have? What should we include when writing a formal letter? Yes, Hannah? Hannah?
Address.
Address, thank you. Sisi?
The address.
Yes, I have heard you, Hannah, thank you. Sisi? Sumaya? Sumaya? Okay, Kayinga? You are putting the hands up and I'm calling, you're not hearing. Okay, Pakoto? Vincent or Tim? Hannah again?
Date.
Date, thank you. Hadija?
Person is name.
Okay, that's correct. Sister, are you on now? Okay, Hekma? Hekma? Okay. Shiba?
Introduction.
Introduction, thank you. Jerome George?
Body. The receiver's name.
Pardon, please. Okay. Ntambi Joshua Ivan?
Teacher, the body.
The body, thank you. Kayonga Ronald? Could you pardon, please? Kayonga, could you pardon?
Salutation.
I can't. Salutation, okay. Thank you. Bernard, get back to that to that spread PowerPoint. Yes, in the chat, Kayla Sad says the person that is typing or has written the letter. Okay, thank you. Okay. It is up, Teacher Bernard. Up. Teacher Bernard, the components of informal letter components. Thank you. So could someone read, please? One. Yes, Lillian, could you read? Lillian, your network is poor. Okay. We have, please, let's mute. Teacher Bernard, help me mute everyone. Teacher Bernard, help me mute everyone. Okay. Thank you. So the components of an informal letter, we have one, the address of the sender, and two, the date of the date of writing a letter. Three, address of the receiver. Four, salutation or greeting. Five, the body of the letter. Six, the conclusion, and seven is the signature of the sender. So I wish to note that in this informal letter, the address, the sender's address is optional in this case. So you can either put it on or you leave it out. Teacher, we go to the next slide. Thank you. So the first thing to write is your address. So we are dealing with the address first. So the first thing when, let's assume I'm the one writing the letter. So the first thing I do when I'm writing the letter is my address. That is the address of the writer. We usually write the address on the left-hand side of the page at the very top. The address should be accurate and complete. Even when writing to close friends or relatives, the address must be written so they can reply back to the letter with ease. If the recipient of the letter is in another country, do not forget to write your country as well in the address. So the writer's address helps the receiver to respond to the letter that he or she has received easily, because it will have the address to which the receiver should write to. Are we on? Are we following? Members, are you listening to me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yes, teacher.
Chair, yes.
Okay, thank you. So, next slide, teacher. Okay, so on the next we have the date. Could someone read the date?
Next, just below the
Allows
date.
the reader.
This allows the reader reference as to when
Next, just below the address,
No.
write the
Okay.
date. This allows the reader to have a reference as to when the address was written. He can then relate better to the context of the letter.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So in this case, when after talking, let's mute ourselves, please. Okay, so the date. When you're writing a letter, the date should be there, and it guides the reader, the receiver, when was the letter written, and it helps him to respond to the letter, given the fact that he already knows when it was written. Okay, next, teacher. The other thing is the greeting. So the greeting, others call it the salutation. We salute afterwards, after writing the date. So now, since you know the person you are writing to, the greeting can be informal as well. If it is a friend or someone close to you, to your age, you can greet them by their first name, like dear Alex. If you are writing to your relative, like your mother, father, aunt, uncle, etc., you may greet them as such. For example, dear mom, dear dad, dear Uncle Jonah. So, and if you are writing to an elder person, someone you respect greatly, you can address them as Mr. or Mrs. Like, say, for example, you were writing a congratulatory letter to your teacher, it can be addressed as dear Mrs. Alex. So in here, that's when the informal language comes in. You just say dear, and unlike the formal letters where we say dear madam or dear sir, in here you put dear plus the name of the person you are writing to or the title of the person. Let's say dear mom, dear dad, dear uncle, dear Alex, dear Mary, and dear John. Okay, next slide, teacher. Thank you. The other is the first paragraph, the first paragraph of the letter, and in this paragraph is the introductory paragraph. And now we begin writing the actual letter. The introductory paragraph sets the tone of the whole letter. You may begin by asking the recipient about their well-being, or you may say that you hope the letter finds them in good health and great spirits. The opening of informal letters should be casual and comforting. It must not be formal and direct as in business letters. So in here, you can start your letter as, hello, Dad. I hope this finds you well. Greetings to all. Greetings to Jonah, to Mary, and to Simon. How is grandma? So that is the formal letter. Hello. Hope this finds you well. Hope you are fine back home. Are you okay? So those informal greetings are put in the introductory paragraph. Okay, next slide. Please, in case you do not understand, you are free to ask. Ronald, your hand is up. Do you have something to ask? Ronald? Okay. By show of hands, do we have someone who wishes to read? Someone who would wish to read? Yes, Hannah. Okay. Hannah?
The letter overall should maintain a friendly tone, but you have to adjust the language and the wordings according to you are writing to. With a friend, you can afford to be very casual and flippant even, but if you are writing to an elder relative, you must be extremely respectful and considerate.
Okay, thank you. So that is under the body. The body, it means the real content, what you are exactly writing. You remember you have written the first paragraph, that is the introductory. You are greeting and you're introducing yourself. Then in the second paragraph, that's when you state the reason as to why you are writing that letter. So in this case, when you are at this level, you write the language, but the language must vary or is always different with the people that you are writing to. Like for example, let's take an example in our class here. When Sandra Nakawa is writing to Arafat, the language cannot be the same because Sandra and Arafat are age mates and they are friends. They are just friends. That language is hello. Even Sandra can say, "What's up? What's up, Arafat? Are you okay?" So that is the language that Sandra could use when talking to Arafat. But when Sandra is writing to mom, you can't say, "What's up, mother? What's up, mom?" You can't say that. The language should be different. And even when you're writing to a teacher, even if it is an informal letter, the language you use when you're writing to a teacher is different from the language you use when you're writing to your brother. So even the content or the reason as to why you're writing they always differ. So at your mother, you can write to her just to greet her, and you can't write a letter to your teacher just to greet her or him. So the language varies with the person that you are writing to. Are we together? Yes. Okay. Sandra, your hand is up. Sandra?
Teacher, I was just asking that is it informal or formal?
We are dealing with informal.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hekma, you're asking which lesson? This is English language. Kayonga says you are leaving. It is okay. You can attend. Hekima, you're asking, can we write it on the right hand? Now, I don't know. What are you going to write? What are you asking about? What are you writing on the right hand? Is it the address or the body? I'm not understanding. Okay, please clarify on that. Teacher Bernard, we go to the next slide. Charity, your hand is up. Charity? Okay, there's no question. Okay, so we go to the conclusion. Could someone read, please, by show of hands? Sandra, Laura, please.
In the conclusive paragraph, sum up the reason for writing the letter. That is, summarize the letter, say a meaningful and affectionate goodbye to the reader, and do not forget to invite the reader to write back or reply to your letter. It shows an intention to keep the conversation going.
Okay, thank you very much. So the second last part of the informal letter is the conclusion. So the conclusion, we always have, we have to summarize, to write in short what we wish to communicate. So, and in that, after that, you say affectionate goodbye. You say goodbye to the someone you're writing, but using good words. Then, and after saying that, you request the person to write back to you so that the conversation goes on. Because the person you're writing back to you, it means he received the information that you intended to send to him. And like how you make a phone call, you say hello, then the other person on the other side of the phone says hello. You say good morning, he says good morning, how are you? So that is the conversation we're talking about in letter writing. And like how we started in dialogue. In dialogue, the people speak in turns. So in here, the first turn is you writing to that person. So the feedback comes from that person, informing you that he received the letter and he is acting upon the request that you made. Okay, next slide, teacher. Okay, Sandra, could you read? Your hand has been up.
There is no one way to sign off informal letters, since they do not follow a strict format. You may sign off as you please. Some commonly used phrases are lots of love, best wishes, kind regards, kindly. Pick the one that best suits the occasion and then simply sign your name below the greeting.
Okay, thank you. So here it is stated that in informal letters, we do not have a clear way of signing out. It is upon someone's choice, how he or she wishes to sign out. So someone can say with lots of love, the other can say best, the other can say, another person can say kind regards, the other can say kindly, even another person can go, you as best friend, this. So a person can choose to use his or her own way of signing out, given the fact that it is an informal letter. So, Sandra, your hand is still up. Do you have a question?
Yes. I was
Okay,
asking
please.
that, can you use sincerely?
Okay. Thank you. You as sincerely and you as faithfully, you can use them, but they are majorly for formal letters. When you're writing a formal letter, we are going to study them as time goes on. Formal letters, that's when we use you as sincerely and you as faithfully. But in here, you can use any other word that you wish to use, so long as it expresses your relationship with that person. Okay. I can see there is another hand up. This say your hand is up. Yes. Okay. Sandra, could you lower your hand, or you have another question?
Okay. I'm not Sandra, I'm Whitney.
What's your name?
Whitney, Nabasumba Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney, but here your phone shows Sandra. Sandra and Nakawa Sandra. Nakacho rather. Okay, so Teacher Bernard, we got the next slide. Okay, so here we have an example of an informal letter. So here we are going to yes, please. Okay. Hekma says, can we write the address on the right? Okay. Then Sisi says, what if the letter does not need to be replied? Okay. Sisi, that is a rare case where the letter doesn't need to be replied. Like let's say when you are requesting, if you write a letter home requesting for upkeep at school, it would be better for the parent to write back, and that letter comes with the upkeep that you wish you requested for. So most letters require writing back, because that is the feedback and it is an indicator that the information that was sent out was received. Okay. So please.
Network.
Okay. Sophia, please mute. Okay. I want a volunteer to read what is the letter on my screen, please. Could the volunteer read? Yes. Nadia.
17. Sector 17. Vashi.
Could you please
New
wait?
Mumbai.
First wait, Nadia. Sophia, could you mute, please? Sophia. Okay, go on, Nadia.
Sector 17. Vashi, New Mumbai. 6 July 2013. Dear Maya, thank you very much for your last letter. It was great to hear from you after so many months. You seem to be having a nice time in France. Thanks a lot for the photographs. I absolutely loved the snap of you standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. France looks stunning. Someday, I would definitely like to go there. There is not much happening here. I'm busy with my work and kids. By the way, are you coming home anytime soon? If you are, let me hope to see you soon, Aditi.
Okay, thank you, Nadia. So that is a letter. A friend went to France and then sent back home photos of herself standing somewhere. And so the friend was Maya. And so the photos were sent to Aditi. So Aditi had to write back informing the friend the reason informing the friend that the photos were well received. Could someone give me the reason why Aditi wrote to Maya? According to the letter. Yes, please. Some could put in the chat.
He wanted Maya to give her a job. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Okay. Who was the person speaking, please? Hello? Who was the person speaking? Me. The person. Yes. Yes, Sophia. What did you say? What is the reason as to why Aditi wrote to Maya?
That's Sophia.
Okay. Hadija, please. What is the reason? Hadija?
In order to know whether Aditi was coming home.
In order to know when Aditi was to come home. That is very correct. Isaac, do you have a different answer? Isaac?
To show that she received the letter.
Okay, thank you. Isaac says to show that she received the letter in the chat. And Joyce says Aditi wanted to know when she was coming back from France. Okay, so look at the second, the fourth line from the bottom. And it says, by the way, are you coming home anytime soon? If you are, let me know the dates and we can arrange to meet up. So there are two reasons. There are two reasons as to why Aditi wrote to Maya. And one of the reasons is that Aditi wanted to write back to Maya, informing her that she received the photos that Maya sent back home. And so she received them with a good heart. And the other reason is as if Aditi just remembered and she said, by the way, when are you coming back home from France? So Okay, so in that case, let's start identifying the informal words or the informal language that has been used in this letter. Could someone identify the words that show that this letter is informal? Okay, Whitney? Sister, yes? Yes?
You say that we can use kindly, the such words when you are during the conclusion.
Yes.
That means that if you use those words, you can't use names.
You are breaking. I can't hear you well.
Shall you say that we can use kindly and so on and other words during the conclusion? That means that we can't use our names when we use them.
Oh, okay. The names are used, yes, but there is that one phrase that goes, that is you write before you write your name. So we here in like in the case in our letter, we have hope to see you soon. That is one way of that is the way that Aditi decided to sign out. So remember, in the conclusion, it says that you end with a passionate, you say goodbye to the person you're writing to passionately. And so did Aditi decide to use hope to see you soon. That is the way of signing out for Aditi. So after saying those kindly best regards, that's when you write your name below that conclusion phrase. Are we together, Sissy? Okay, I have another hand up from Isaac. Isaac? Isaac?
She did not write her name. Show that it's informal.
She did not write, okay, yes. She just used the one name, Aditi, but of course we know Aditi is just half a name. So there must be another name for Aditi. Maybe Aditi John Mary, maybe Aditi Rosette. So that is one way, that is one word to show that this letter is informal. She just put hope to see you soon, and below she put Aditi. Sophia, I keep muting you and you unmute, and yet you are bringing confusion in the group. Sophia, Nakirai Sophia.
Teacher?
Yes?
How come that I don't data?
Sorry?
Teacher?
Yes, please.
Hello, teacher?
Yes,
don't have the letter.
You don't have the letter? Sissy, you are saying you don't have the letter? Maybe we can't hear each other. Okay, Sandra Nakachwa, this was Whitney.
I don't have the letter.
The letter, can you see on my screen?
Yes.
What are you seeing on the screen?
What? Teacher.
Yes. Okay, I go to Xperia. Xperia, your hand is up. Could you pardon, please? Mary in the chat says the way he concluded the letter, and Xperia says I can't see your screen. How come I can see Teacher Bernard's screen and the others can't see?
I can see as well.
Teacher Mitra, I can see.
Yes, so others are saying they can't see the screen. Anyway. Okay, Shiba, your hand is up. Do you have something to say?
Yes. I have a question.
Yes, please.
Is it
It's
okay
okay.
when you write the signature of the sender on the right hand side?
The signature or the address?
Okay, the name of the sender.
Shiba, your noise, I can't. But Sophia, what is wrong?
I'm not seeing. I can't say
Sophia,
anything.
someone using Nakira is Sophia. Because you every time you are on and you're making noise in the background.
No, I'm not seeing.
You are not seeing but mute. When you are unmute, do you see now? Thank you. Because others can see the screen. How come it is only you who cannot see it? Okay, Shiba, please continue with your question.
I was asking, is it okay when you write the name of the sender on the right hand side?
It is not okay. You don't put them. You don't put it the other side. You either put it. It is only the official letter or the formal letters where the names and the signatures are put towards the center of the letter of the paper, not at the right. But in this case, in the informal letters, you put the name of the writer at the bottom left part of the letter. Any other person with a question? I can see. Okay, Hadija, you have a question or you have an answer?
Teacher, is it okay to put paragraphs in the informal letter?
Okay, I will answer that. Sisi, do you have a question?
Teacher,
Yes.
I thought that when you put, if you write the address on the right hand side, you should put also even the conclusion on the right hand side.
When you write the address on the right, you also put the conclusion on the right.
Yes.
That's what you were told.
That's how we were taught in primary.
Okay, please go and read and see which address do you put on the right and which address do you put on the left. Here we have put the address on the right because it is the writer's address. And there are some cases where people opt to write the address on the left. That is the receiver's address. It is the one that is always on the left. So in that case, when the writer's address, as a must and always, the writer's address is always on the right top corner of the paper. Then the names at the end of the letter are put on the left bottom. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Which kind of letter do we use when we are writing? Teacher.
Could you pardon?
What is the name given to the kind of letter? What is the name given to a kind of letter that has two addresses?
That is formal letter, official letter or formal letter.
Teacher.
Yes.
What about when we are apologizing to a person for breaking something?
So that is also
there are two kinds of apology. If let's say Whitney is writing to Sisi to apologize, that can be a friendly letter. If Whitney is writing to Sisi, that can be a friendly letter. But if Whitney is writing to a teacher in a school setting, that is a formal letter. So in that case, apology letters are formal. They are official letters. So unless your parent has beaten you and you can't face her, So you decide to write a letter, but still, I feel that letter should be formal. It should have two addresses, should be formal. But if the person is a relative or is a friend, is a sibling, you can write that letter informal as informal. But we have not dealt with the formal letters, so you can ask those questions when we deal with the formal letters, so that you can compare the two. Okay. Jerome George, I also keep muting you. You unmute, so you're bringing confusion in the class. Thank you. If there is no any other, who is asking? Okay. Nakara is Sophia. Do you have something to say? Sophia? Okay, Teacher Bernard, the last slide. Thank you. So please, I'm going to share this in the WhatsApp group, and I request you to do this assignment. And it reads: write a letter to a friend inviting her to come for your birthday party that is scheduled for 22nd of July 2021. So please write this letter, this informal letter, to a friend, and you invite her or him to come to your party on 22nd of July 2021. So with that, any person with a question, we close. In the chat, Joyce says, is it a must for the address to be on the left side? Ours is on the right, so our address is on the right. Isaac K says block method. Block method is when you skip a line, and that block method is used when you're typing, but when you're handwriting the letter, you use indent. You just leave a space between the margin and the first letter of your letter. In the chat still, Musimeta says, teacher, you didn't answer my question. Hadija, could you restate the question, please? Okay, Alex Kayinga says, thanks, teacher, for the lesson. Thank you.
Teacher, I asked that can you use paragraphs in informal letter?
Oh, okay, thank you. Teacher Bernard, please go to that slide of the letter. One last show, please. Okay, thank you. Here. So I've just talked about it. When you're writing a letter, yes, you write in paragraphs, and you don't use this letter is typed. That is the reason why it has block paragraphing. But when you are writing it, you use indenting. Indenting is when you leave a space between the margin and the first letter of your word. So after every, like on the first paragraph, you to go to the second paragraph, you indent. To go to the third paragraph, you indent. Yes, you can use paragraphs when you're writing an informal letter. So with that, I beg to stop from here, and I thank you for your participation. Have a nice afternoon.